Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for taking time to listen. Today, this video is going to be going over what Hannah Arendt might have thought about the January 6th insurrection on the Capitol and back in 2021. Alright, an Arendtian analysis of the January 6th insurrection would likely focus on the breakdown of shared public reality, the distinction between violence and power, and the danger of authoritarian falsehoods. While she could be seen as having sympathy for originally desired to reclaim agency, she would see the events as dangerous and ultimately futile spectacle driven by manipulation, not legitimate political action. The destruction of a common factual reality, Arendt would likely see the promotion of baseless conspiracy theories, such as the false claim that the 2020 election was stolen, as a key factor in the events leading up to January 6. Blurring fact and opinion. In her essay, Truth in Politics, Arendt warns about the deliberate manipulation of factual truth by political actors. She distinguishes between factual truths, which are not open to debate, and matters of opinion, which are. The widespread promotion of disinformation prior to January 6 and the subsequent dismissal of the Capitol rioters' actions as merely a difference of opinion, in her view, represent a profound and dangerous blurring of this line. The flight from reality. Arendt would see the embrace of these falsehoods by a significant portion of the population as a flight from reality, a concept she associated with totalitarian regimes. This flight is enabled by a political leader who, according to one Arendtian analysis, never made the defining totalitarian effort to bend reality to his fictional world, allowing others to participate in a shared unreality. Violence versus power. A central tenet of Arendt's philosophy is the crucial distinction between violence and power. She would argue that the events of January 6, while a spectacle of violence, were not an exercise of true political power. Power from concerted action. For Arendt, legitimate power springs up when people come together to act and speak in concert for a shared political goal. It belongs to a group and is sustained through dialogue and consent. Violence, by contrast, is an instrument used to compel obedience and suppress dissent. Violence is a sign of impotence. Arendt argued that violence appears where power is in jeopardy. The events of January 6 could thus be interpreted as a last resort for a movement that, having failed to use democratic powers to achieve its aims, resorted to coercion. The insurrection was an impotent and destructive act fundamentally incapable of creating new power or legitimacy. The failure of revolution. While Arendt studied revolutions in depth, she would distinguish the January 6th insurrection from a legitimate revolutionary act. For Arendt, true revolution aims to establish new institutions for public freedom, not simply to destroy the old ones. Destruction without a new beginning. Arendt viewed revolution as a new beginning for a body politic founded on the collective promise of freedom. The January 6th insurrection lacked a coherent plan or ideology for constituting a new government. It was primarily an attack against existing constitutional structures, making its violent rebellion rather than a genuine revolution. Absence of legitimate authority. Legitimate authority for Arendt comes from the consent that brings laws into existence. The rioters, following a leader who had lost the democratic election, had no legitimate claim to power. The action was aimed at overthrowing a free and fair election, not constituting a new free political space. The banality of evil and political spectacle. Arendt's concept of the banality of evil, in which ordinary people commit evil acts by conforming to its system, could also be applied to the insurrection. Focus on the absurd spectacle. For an Arendtian perspective might focus not only on the violent participants, but on the political figures and media figures who enabled the event through lies and spectacle. In this reading, the insurrection could be seen as a surreal performance where the absurdity of the claim was a primary feature and the participants became cogs in a theatrical, destructive event. The danger of spectacle over substance. This approach would suggest that the focus on spectacle and the substitution of lies for facts represent a profound danger to the health of a republic, as it undermines the very foundation of a rational public discourse necessary for a functional democracy. All right, thank you for listening, everyone. I obtained the data using artificial intelligence of what Hannah Arendt might think. Obviously, she was dead since 1975, so This is all theoretical, but thank you for taking time to listen. Take care, everyone.